How do you use collaboration to generate ideas, develop and produce your work?
Okay, so we're a global company, so we have development engineering resources around the whole world. So we use collaboration all the time to develop our product. One of the products we sell is a collaboration tool called WebEx, which allows us to have video conferencing, whiteboarding, all that sort of thing at the same time. So early in the production cycle, we have brainstorming sessions where we could have teams from across the world working together to come up with the ideas and the concepts that we want to put in the next product. And then when we actually come to develop the product, again, there's a number of components. There's the hardware parts, the software parts, the applications, things like that. They're often spread across teams throughout the whole world. So again, we use collaboration to share the ideas, pass on aspects of the project. So as I finish a piece, I pass that on to the next person in the team to work on it some more. We hold regular team meetings globally to discuss what's happening with the product and how development is coming. And then when it comes down to the production of the product, again, we use specialised manufacturing units across the globe. So we may have power supplies built in Malaysia, we might have processors built in Taiwan, and circuit boards and things made in Mexico. So again, they all need to speak together and to collaborate to make sure that we're all producing the right things at the right time to finally put them together.
Okay. How does collaboration inspire your creativity?
Well, that generally comes out of the conversations we're having. So when we're having the brainstorming sessions, or even if we're just having a conversation amongst the team, somebody will make a comment about, wouldn't it be great if we could do something different, and then that inspires others to throw their ideas in, and then we pass suggestions backwards and forwards like that. So it's a really dynamic, interactive engagement to talk about what's possible, and from that all the ideas sort of come.
So for this course, I need to discuss with you the creative brief, which is we are living on the verge of immense challenges and opportunities that will change the way we live. Engage an audience in a fact-based dreaming of their possible futures. How would you discuss that?
Okay, so I think probably the best way to talk about it from my own personal experience is that my company, the company I worked for 25 years ago, our company slogan was changing the way the world lives, works and plays. And if you look at how the internet has changed the way people work, live and play over the last 25 years, you can see it's changed immensely. 25 years ago, people had dial-in modems, and that's how they connected. Selling over the internet was unheard of. Buying online was very rare. So if we're looking at the opportunities are immense. There's things coming in the future that we can't even imagine today. I mean, like I said, think 10 years ago, and things we were thinking then, hadn't even dreamt of what we're doing now. Video conferencing and things like that were almost unheard of. So there's definitely massive opportunities.
Wasn't your company involved in the Y2K?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So they had to do the whole change the time, the dates.
So we had to change all our products so that they went to a 4-digit year date, so they wouldn't all crash on the year 2000. Yes, that was some of the challenges. I mean, part of the problem you've got is developing something today that will still work in 20 years' time, and that's what we stumbled in when we were designing these things. The company started in 1984, 85, somewhere around there. Nobody was even thinking of the year 2000 and what was going to happen. We didn't start thinking about that until about 1993, 1994. And so that was a huge challenge. We had to go and fix everything up so that we didn't have that crash. We've learned from that. There's other challenges. There's a similar thing coming up in 2038 where there's going to be another number change like that everybody needs to be aware of. So there's challenges like that we need to be aware of.
What's the challenge for 2038?
It's a date change in the Unix operating system, and I think it's another one that clicks over. Instead of going to the next one, it goes back to 0. So it's something like that we need to worry about.
Okay.
So there's technology challenges. There's challenges that are going to come from the fact that the more we provide for people, the more they see opportunities to do bigger and better things, and so we have to keep up with that sort of thing. And then we have challenges that the more we open up business and make things easy to do, we then have to protect ourselves from the bad actors that want to come in and break things. So hackers and
cybersecurity,
all the cybersecurity stuff. Yes, that sort of stuff. So those challenges are going to be huge. So it's a big balancing act between making everything available, everything open, everything easily accessible to everybody, and then the flip side of that is keeping everything secure and safe. The other challenge that we have with some of this is that technology and things are moving so fast that it's very difficult for people to keep up with it. So I was lucky. I sort of grew up in the first generation that understood computers. So I was finishing high school in 1982, which is when the first Apple Mac and personal computers started coming out. But my father had no idea how to use a computer. So he was missing out on all the opportunities that were happening now because he just couldn't understand the technology. So that's another challenge we have to look at as we create more and more things, how we get the whole population to come and use them. Otherwise we end up with an uneven playing field across the community where some people are able to use the technology and thrive and others get left behind. It's commonly called the digital divide. So again, there are some countries in the world that don't have internet, and so as we zoom ahead and become super productive and all that, we're leaving whole countries behind in their education and things like that, which is a problem.
How would you go about addressing the creative brief?
So I think the key thing you have to do is to make sure that you're getting input from all sections of the community that you want to involve in your brief. So understand what the community is that you're looking at. Are you talking about people in Australia? Or are you talking about the world, or whatever you want to look at? Make sure you get good representation from all those stakeholders in your discussions.
Yeah.
You'll have to talk to them and get their input on what they think their challenges are, what they think their challenges are going to be, because they'll be different, as I sort of suggested. If you were looking at just the population of Australia, you'd have to look at the challenges that the older people face, the people with disabilities, the different ethnic backgrounds, those that don't speak English,
Indigenous
people,
yep.
They've all got different challenges.
Yeah.
So, the challenge that faces a 20-year-old person living in the centre of Sydney is completely different from a 20-year-old Indigenous person living in the outback.
Yeah.
So you need to find out what their individual challenges are, and then target those specifically. And again, with each of those with each of those challenges, there's again different opportunities, and you have to target the opportunities to match the audience. That's the key. It's definitely not a one size fits all response to any of these things. It's targeting the response to the stakeholder group that you're looking at and making sure you get input from them. Don't tell them what the answer is, ask them what the problem is, and then work with them on possible solutions. But you need their buy-in for everything that you do as well. So if you come up with a great idea and they don't support it, it doesn't go anywhere. So ask what the issues is, workshop the solution with them, make sure they've bought into it, and then it can roll out that way.
Okay. Thank you.
When talking to the interview subject, they stated that when collaborating with others, the company would brainstorm ideas. Discussing the creative brief, they've stated that the ways that the internet has changed. For example, 10 years ago, there wasn't much usage of video conferencing compared to now, and that's due to the pandemic, because video conferencing has become the new norm. When asking about how the interview subject would address the creative brief, they've spoken about working with others to come up with problems and solutions.